Testing. Testing. Okay, we have one live. Okay. That's right. Need to add. There's a disclaimer. Testing, testing. Update that graphic, really. Testing. Seems to be a little bit of a delay today. Why is there two microphones? This one. Testing. There we go. Good morning, traders. Welcome back for another live session. I hope you enjoyed the May bank holiday over in the UK. Taking a bit of time off. I know quite a lot of my trader friends, they went away, took some time away from the markets, which is great. And I myself has just come back to the markets as well. So I need to do some catching up, especially after last week. It was a pretty brutal market. I must admit, we saw quite a lot of GDP data coming out, so it seemed to have disrupted the market, although our technicals, if we look back in hindsight, did play out relatively quite well, especially on the GBP USD. I frustratingly got stopped out of this position before, and then we could see that the price actually did retrace back into that now verified demand zone and push itself quite aggressively into the upside. I mean, you know, even if I had gotten in, I wouldn't have been able to take all of this. However, now today, so I'm also playing catch up. So let's jump out to the 4-hour frame. What we can see is liquidity being taken here. Let's just jump out of here. We're a little bit far behind on the market. Right, where are we? That was the potential target. We can see that the price did, in fact, hit that target. Fantastic. So we can remove that for now. I need to do a quick technical analysis on the charts today to show you guys where the price could potentially move toward if using basic technical analysis. Using basic technical analysis for today. Oh, I should have been looking at this market a little bit sooner. This morning has been a very busy day, and so jumping into the London session right after a May Day holiday is pretty harsh. So what I'm seeing at the moment is that we may be seeing a nice retracement up into this unverified supply zone before then pushing down to this unverified demand zone, or maybe push into even further on this 4-hour potential demand zone. Because what we can see is that when price pushed into this area, or when price was around this area previously, we saw a really nice breaker structure here. So what I'll be waiting for, and I think I already put out some graphics this morning, is a short-term push into the upside. Hopefully it won't break this previous high, but then I'll be looking on the 15-minute time frame to look for a bit of confirmation of market structure, and then look to short the market into the downside. That is what the technicals are saying to me today. I should jump out. I know we're very bullish at the moment on GBP, USD. Yeah, we're a very bullish market at the moment. We can see that all the way from down here. I mean, we finally crossed above the 200 EMA, and since then we have just been producing all of these higher lows. So I am certainly looking for long positions on GBP USD, and I think where we are at the moment is that we can see the price came up, it grabbed liquidity, it's now pushing itself up, down, it came up for the retest, and so we're likely seeing another short-term push into the downside. Now, if I marked this area out, we could say that this be an unverified potential daily demand zone. Unverified potential short daily demand. And so what this means is the price could retrace a little bit lower. So if we jump back to the 4-hour frame, we could see the price, falling quite nicely into the technicals that I just put out there. We could see this nice push into the upside before then seeing another retest at this unverified demand zone, where ultimately it comes down pretty far into this unverified potential daily demand. That is would be my setup, my personal setup for the day. That is what I would be looking at doing. Let's drop down to the 15 milliliter for a minute. Let's have a look down here, because we're seeing a bit of struggle here. Yeah, I don't see why this wouldn't go up. I think where I would be most inclined to look at is if the price reaches here, or what are we? We're on the 15-minute, aren't we? Okay, so we're gonna see a nice break from there. Yeah, I would be looking at these areas right here for my short position, that is. I'd be looking at this area here, and I'll be looking to see what the price does at this area here as well. And then I would not be afraid to jump in and just risk. I mean, I personally would not be afraid to do something like this. Maybe even a 2.8, yes. You know, to play really safe. I mean, just before hitting that previous low, right? So that's what I'll be looking at for GBP USD for today. Let's hope the London session within this hour pushes the price quite aggressively into the upside. That would be absolutely fantastic. Let's head over to the Euro USD. As I mentioned, I am playing a bit of catch up because I have been away from the charts for quite a few days. I think we'll just be looking at a very similar setup that we have on GBP USD, which is, oh, look at how beautiful this is. On the 4-hour frame, we can see that the price came up previously. It grabbed that liquidity. We can see that liquidity was grabbed from this area and from this area. And we can confirm that with this beautiful long spiked candlestick there. We are in bullish territory, so we are going up and we are looking for long positions. But as you know, the market is not perfect, and we are likely going to have a few pullbacks along the way. What we can then also see is that liquidity was then grabbed. All liquidity that was resting above this previous high was also grabbed, and we can confirm that with this long spiked candle just over here. What I would then be waiting for is a breaker structure here on the 4-hour. I think it's actually coming up already for that retest. I think that's what it's doing. We'll look into the lower time frames in a moment. I'll look and see what the price is doing here at the moment, I can see it struggling within this area. This could be a pretty interesting time for the market to push itself back down. And I would be looking at this zone as my potential target. So let's just drop down into the hourly frame. We are bullish, remember, so we're not expecting a complete reversal into the downside. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Although we are seeing a little bit of tension reoccurring within the Middle East, and that may have quite a big impact on the market, or it does have a huge impact on the market. So what did I say is I would be waiting now for this to be broken or close to it, or see some price action happening here. Hopefully it pushes up a little bit higher because, yeah, we have a really nice kind of breaks of structures here. I would be kind of waiting for it to re-enter into that box. Hopefully it pushes a little bit higher into that box. And then I wouldn't be afraid of then taking a short position from this box, placing a stop just above that previous high and aiming a 1 to 2, 1 to 2.5 risk to reward. I'll probably do 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio on Euro US dollar. That would be my play. That would just be my general analysis. So I'm not done a top-down analysis. I'm just looking at the 4 hour and the 1 hour and the 15. I will jump out to the weekly and the daily in just a moment throughout this live stream, just so that we can get a really good understanding. But I mean, if I just drop out to the daily, we can already see that we're in bullish territory. Like, we are looking for longs, and we want to profit from the pullbacks, right? That is what I personally am looking at, is profiting from these little pullbacks while we continue pushing up to maybe these previous highs up here. So I will do a more top-down analysis a little bit later, so not to worry on that. Heading over to USD JPY. Yeah, that must have dropped. Of course, I didn't look at USD. Oh, that dropped a lot. Look at that. Beautiful. Oh, how frustrating, because last week we were looking for a really beautiful drop on the JU. You could see what happened there. You can see that trade that I tried to enter last week. Let me remove that. So we can see that the price had come up and it took the liquidity resting above this area. I honestly did not think the price was going to break any of these previous highs because it had struggled for so long. But it seemed as though, yes, the price really wanted to come up and just grab liquidity that was resting up above these higher highs before pushing itself back down. The price retraced into that fair value gap. So if you're a fair value gap trader, you would have probably looked at entering around here, and you'd likely still be in a short position. And we listed out last week all of the areas in which this price is going to go. And we can already confirm, we can already see that it has taken liquidity here, it has taken these liquidity here, it has taken liquidity here. So we've gotten these three. I'll mark them out in like light blue so you can see the liquidity that has clearly been taken. And so now we're in a bearish trend, very clear change of direction, and we're likely going to see the price continue and grab this liquidity here. Hopefully it comes all the way down to this external liquidity side, which, by the way, if that really does come down to here, that would work in our favor on GBP, Euro dollar, for looking for long positions. Okay. So although I'm looking for short-term shorts on GU and Euro, overall I am looking for those long positions as well. So this on the 4 hourly. Oh, it's a shame I missed all of this. It's a really big shame. When did this come out? This came out yesterday. Oh, painful. When was this come out? Last Thursday? What was happening last Thursday? Well, I was not trading on last Thursday. Yeah, I think I exited the trades. No. What were we doing last Thursday? That's not a Thursday. That is, yes. Yeah, I wasn't trading last Thursday, so completely missed all of this. Oh well. I always considered trades that you might have missed. Let's say imagine you entered a trade and you lost. I still consider those as win days, days that you don't trade. Okay, so a substantial amount of volume pushed this down. What we may see is a bit of a correction. I don't think it's going to break this high from now on. Hopefully, if the Middle Eastern tensions simmer down, I don't think it is going to break that high. But wow, look at these just aggressive moves. Absolutely aggressive moves. This is really unheard of. Really crazy moves into the downside. So yeah, what we might end up seeing today, let's try and see if we can find. So we've got a nice breaker structure here. I would take this. Yeah, that would be the zone. It would be a big zone. You know, even if I miss a zone, I wouldn't be so upset missing this kind of zone. But what I'm hoping to see is a retrace coming back up into this zone before we go down and grab liquidity resting below here, right? So I would have to wait and see what happens when it enters that zone. I'll definitely not be looking at a 1 to 4. That's insane. I'd look at something like that for JU. That would be my insight of what I would potentially do. Yeah, so anyway, shorting on JU, let's drop down to the 15-minutely, because if you're on the 15-minutely and you could just see that I drew this, you'll likely be looking for a long position. I think it'll be pretty nice. Yeah, I think, okay, we're seeing a bit of a struggle here. I think if we see a nice break from this area, let me just change this up to a green. If we see a nice break within this area, I would then wait for a retest. So come up, it'll retest probably this bit here. And then I would take a trade from there onward up to this or into this box that I've drawn for the higher time frames. That would be what I would be. That would be what I would look for on JU. And what we can do is, oof, it's a lot of momentum pushing itself down, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Just before that box as well. Yeah. There's no confirmation, by the way. I'm just marking this out so I don't forget. I'm certainly not trading this. DXY. So we've seen a huge tumble on the DXY. You all should be really happy about this because when I'm away from the markets move aggressively. If you remember, throughout most of last week, we just saw very, very boring moves all the way through. Just very boring consolidation, and now, boom, here we go. And now we're seeing aggressive moves into the downside on DXY. So we are certainly bearish, massively bearish on DXY today. So this is good. Let's just have a look. Yep, we are producing lower highs now. Again, another beautiful fair value gap was formed, and the price did close within that fair value gap before then pushing down even more. We can see a really clean break of structure here, which is fantastic, indicating that the price now wants to continue into the downside. What I would want to then mark out is breaks from here. I would want to mark something like this out. What we may end up seeing on the DXY then is, let's drop down to an hourly frame. Or what we are seeing at the moment is the price is coming back down to here. This would be your little retest. Before and then likely coming up, grabbing that liquidity, or hopefully coming up here for that retest and then moving down. Okay, so this would play very nicely. Wow, look at that. There's a lot of volume pushing that down at the moment. It's our 15-minute candle. It is a 15-minute candle. My goodness. Wow. That's just a very powerful bearish Marubozu candle right there. Let's have a look and see if GPP is... Yeah, it's entered into that zone. Okay. Oh, that's nice. Great. So where is my MT5? Wow, look at that sharp move upward. Wonderful. Wonderful. This is exactly what we want to see. Hopefully it pushes even higher, gets itself up to here, and then I would be looking to enter into a position, personally. All right, I need to keep an eye on that. Let's just put an alarm for this one and an alarm for this one. Let's have it to XAU. Oh, very beautiful push into the upside on XAU. Last week, if you had entered into that position, congratulations. We did a short-term short. That was the last time I traded. And then we can see the price pushed itself aggressively upward, back into one of these demand zones, supply zones, pushing itself down lower. Now we can see the price came up and it grabbed liquidity resting above this area before pushing itself back down again. And now we're seeing a bit of a change of character into the upside, and we can see some beautiful breaks for structures here. We can see a new formed demand zone forming here. This is on the hourly, so let's drop out to the 4 hourly. On the 4 hourly, yes, this would be a new demand zone. So this is a verified zone, and what I would want to do now is copy and paste. As I said, I didn't do my technical analysis today, so I have to do it on the fly in front of you all, no problem. And I would label this my unverified demand zone. This is going to be my potential target if the price pushes itself down, which it likely will because we are seeing so much liquidity around here. So we're just going to wait and see what it does around these key areas and hopefully come back down. What is frustrating is that it's just broken structure here as well. Yeah, so this is going to be, I'll be eyeing these two areas. This is too small. This is too small for an area to push back into, so I wouldn't be looking at that. But hopefully, yes, if we see a reaction above these areas, then I would be shorting the position, although we are overall changing character. We're now moving into a bullish territory. So yeah, I'll be looking for short-term shorts, long-term longs. Beautiful structure though. It's like a mountain pushing itself back down, producing these higher highs. Wonderful, beautiful structure. Okay, so I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting today. Let's just drop down to very nice breaker structure here. You can see. Let me just mark that out. Oh, used the wrong tool. Beautiful breaker structure here. Marked out. Lock that in place. Beautiful. Full body break as well. So yes, I would be. I'm hoping that the price would likely enter up into some of these areas around here. So I believe this is an unverified supply zone. Right, making my chart a little bit too messy at the moment. Yes. Yeah, I think we're gonna see an initial reaction now. Yeah. Well, just waiting mostly on that. BTC, finally. Yay. It's been playing into our technicals beautifully. I did say that we are heading up toward the 90,000 level. You can just see this beautiful trajectory pushing itself up. I mean, what's really scary at the moment is I think MicroStrategy are selling off quite a lot of their BTC to pay the dividends to their investors. So I'd be rather weary of that. Let me just jump back to GU, GBP, USD. Seeing an initial push into the downside. That's a bit concerning. Yeah, so what I would be a little bit afraid of is micro strategies. I don't know how much they've sold, but they've sold quite a few BTCs, I think, to pay off, pay some dividends to their shareholders. And this likely will have an effect, will likely have an effect on BTC's price. And let's say that this sentimented news comes out and people begin reacting to it. We're going to see the price retrace to this level or potentially this level. That's what the technicals tells us. This is where I'd be looking at short-term shorts. Yeah, I'd be looking at these kind of regions here, playing it very, very safe. Very, very safe. I'll just be looking at 1 to 2 risk to reward ratios on BTC with that. That is how I would play that at the moment. But massive change of character. We are now moving into bullish territory with BTC. I wouldn't be surprised if we retrace back above the 90,000 level sometime in the next I don't know, 1 or 2 weeks. I wouldn't be surprised. Really wouldn't be surprised. But I would see a massive reaction. I would imagine there'll be a huge reaction when it hits the 90,000. Let's drop down into the 15-minutely frame. Okay, could have refined this entry a little bit better. Yeah, that would be something that I personally would be looking at. I'd look at kind of shorting this short term just while the news gets digested. Heading over to XAU. Back to XAU. Let me just make this breaker structure a little bit nicer and lock that in. That's really good for us. Yeah, I wouldn't be playing with this so much at the moment. There is an initial reaction, which is pretty good to see. What's happening with DXY? Yes, again, another initial reaction to these previous lows here. Entered into that box now, which, like I said earlier, we want to kind of see the price push itself back up and try and take whatever's resting above these highs before pushing lower, hopefully. And so that would play really nicely into our GU and Euro dollar. Okay, we're seeing a nice reaction happening on the Euro dollar. This is the 15-minute frame, isn't it? Let me just zoom out to the hour. Yeah, we still need it to kind of push up a little bit, you know. Yeah, it's kind of into. Oh, I drew the box wrong anyway. Oh, so it has kind of entered that box, but I think it still needs to push a little bit higher. I mean, unless, you want to. You might be in a losing territory for a little while, though. If you wanted to look at using technicals to trade that. USD JPY, yeah, this one's pushing up a little bit now. I guess it's pretty good. But as I said, I am not in these positions. I'm just pointing them out aligned with technical analysis and what I would personally do. Oh, really hoping this pushes up higher. That would be incredibly ideal. If it pushes up higher, I would be relatively okay with entering this trade. Yeah. Right. Let's take a look. Just looking at some of the latest news, really, dollar slips on hopes of US-Iran deal. Yen rises amid intervention buzz. I'll take a look at that a little bit later. And hopefully that will give a really nice indication to USD JPY. Like I said, I've been away from the charts for quite a while, almost a week. So, a week in trading, it's like, wow, really being really far behind. Yes. So just waiting for JU to move up just a little bit more, and I'll be happy to personally. I would be looking at that setup, that short-term short. Let's see what the next 15-minute candle gives us. So a very bullish candle. Look at that. We could be seeing that the reaction from these highs here. Let's lock that in. We are pretty much in that unverified supply zone, which is pretty good. I just want to see some reactions to these actual individual candlesticks. A lot of trading is just patience. My goodness. Really frustrating. Just patience, 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 and waiting. So, 98,081 will take us up to about 98.25. What? A break of 98. 98,081. Oh, I see. Oh. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, if we break up to about 98.25. Oh. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that plays pretty nicely into the trades that I'm looking at. Just looking at another trader strategy at the moment, and they are suggesting that DXY may be looking at pushing up a little bit more, and then if we see a break in structure, we could be looking at price taking us well over the 98.25 level. And if that goes up, then the GU will go down quite aggressively. So if we were to map this out, and we would likely see it, yeah, we'd likely see the push come all the way down to here. That'd be a very big trade though, wouldn't it? Very big trade. Coming up to half past. Let's just see what happens with this 15-minute candle. 1 minute 15 seconds before it closes, and then we can wish I could extend drawings, just turn this into a box. That'd be great. I'll remove that for now. What's happening onto the lower time frames? Yeah, seeing a little bit of a bullish flag coming out on the lower frames. Hopefully we're going to see a really nice big strong push up. That'll be great for me. Yeah, just a waiting game at the moment. A lot of volume entering into the market at the moment, which is creating quite a lot of volatility. We can see that London is trying to push the price up quite aggressively, and then there's a lot of selling volume that pushes it back down, and so now we're just kind of in this stalemate. Very common thing to happen, or a very common thing to see. There we go. Next candle. That's the 5-minute candle. Ooh, seems to be a bearish candle. Hmm, that's pretty interesting. Okay, so what does price want to reverse? Are we looking at something like this? That's too much of a stop loss there. My goodness, quite a lot of push into the downside. Don't know, still don't trust it. Still do not trust it. I think we could see the price come down anyway to this level just for retest. We could see something like this. Boing. Break that market structure a little bit higher. Then that will scare a lot of people out of their positions. And then we'll see the real push into the downside. Wait and see. So frustrating, you know, watching the markets like this. When you're like, yeah, I know where it's going to go, but, you know, when's the right place? When's the right entry? Like I said before, like, yeah, it's come in, it has touched, because you can see there's very little touch right there. You see there's very little touch right there into that zone, and now we're just seeing quite a bit of a reaction. Hopefully it doesn't continue up. I want it to come down a little bit further. You know, hopefully it comes down to like around here. And this will give a really nice indication that, okay, on all of our other currency pairs, we may then want to enter into those positions. Remember, this is just waiting. This entry is waiting. We are waiting at the moment for it to come up a little bit more into this zone before pushing down. Okay, so it's just a waiting game at the moment for that. USD JPY. Yeah, this one's doing okay. Yeah, this one would be doing pretty well. Like I said, I'm not in any of these positions, just looking at the technicals. Yeah, it's not there yet. I don't think. I think it is going to push up. I think it is. It is going to break up, break the structure. It is going to go into the upside, but we'll likely see the pullback to here. It will probably do something like this, and then it will go up. That's what I'm expecting from JU, and that would play so nicely, so nicely into our GBP USD setups. Oh no, how frustrating. I wish I had entered into that position. Um, yeah, I think there's a lot of people in short positions, long positions, and that's why we're just seeing this reaction here. Let's see what it looks like on the hourly price action candle. Yeah, long wicked. We're only halfway through as well. You know, if we still see a really long wicked candle, 10 minutes before the hour closes, that could represent, yeah, fine, we should have entered there, and we'll likely see it continue coming down, at least toward this 200 EMA. Let's take a look at the daily. Yeah, as I said, I've already listed this out. In fact, I mean, I guess this has already been fulfilled because you can see that the price came up, it came back down and pushed up again, but it hasn't broken that market structure. So I guess we're going to see that little push down. It might not come down all the way, actually. May not come down all the way. We are going to see a bit of a reaction. Yeah. See that kind of pullback. Also, we're seeing some non-farm. We're also going to be seeing non-farm payrolls coming out this week. Unemployment rate comes out tomorrow, as well as non-farm payrolls, and it's forecasted to be pretty bad, which indicates that um, the price is going to continue upward, and the DXY is going to go down. And so I think the price will want to come down to this unverified demand zone to pick up any liquidity resting here so that it can push itself up higher. Now, where would that high be? That would be the question. I have to go out, we'll have to look at the daily for that. Beautiful. Took this beautiful demand supply zone, just took it beautifully. Yeah. Beautiful technical analysis there. Again, taken. That's wonderful. Well, likely that would be your target up here. I would say this would be the target for the bullish run that we could see with the non-farm coming out and being bad. Information and data. So potential liquidity, i.e. target for long, and this is daily. Let me just lock that in. And that would kind of be where, once this pullback has completed and we see that push upward, that could be where it goes on the GBP US dollar. Heading over to Euro USD. Yeah, we're starting to see it push up now, which is really good. Really, like I said, I just want to see the price come up a little bit more, and that will give me a little bit more confidence to enter into that short position, because we know it wants to go down. It needs to go down a little bit before pushing up higher. I don't know, maybe this is the pullback, but we are on the 15-minute, by the way. Maybe that is the pullback. But that's a very deep pullback, you see. It's very deep there. So hopefully it pushes up even higher. Let's head over to gold. Okay, yeah, gold's pushing up nicely. I wouldn't be touching this though at the moment. What am I waiting for it to enter that supply zone? That's way too high. I'd be looking to see what it does around this area, and then hopefully it trickles back down to around here, or it could even trickle back to here, which, by the way, if it did, that should be a 0.5 fib retracement. Almost a 0.5 fib retracement. What I'm looking at is it coming down and taking up this potential area here, which is your FVG, before then going up higher. Also potential setup. Sit back to DXY. Drop down to the 15-minute frame. Okay, well, I mean, we can see the wick of this candle entered into this area here that I drew earlier. I really want it to come down more before then kickstarting and pushing itself up higher. may continue down. Yeah. All right, I think that was a 5-minute candle. Head back over to USD JPY. How's that looking? We don't want it to do this. We want it to go down, actually, but seems to be pushing up. As I said, I mean, all of these, all like every pattern that I've just drawn is the exact same. I want this to go up and then come down before going up, right? So I want it to come up, retest this area before then going up, and that's going to push the JU or the DXY, you know, downward, which or upward, and then that would push all of this downward. Same here. I want to see this come up a little bit more before pushing down. Euro dollar, I want it to come up before going down. You see, and then back to USD JPY. You know, I want to see this go down before going up, or at least go up, come down, then go up. BTC, yeah, I'm just expecting this to fall. I think when the market kind of, hears about MicroStrategy selling quite a lot of, I don't know how much they've sold, actually, don't quote me on that. But I know they've sold something. I saw some news about it. So once the market wakes up and takes a look at MicroStrategy's strategy, then there might be quite a reaction here. Gold, we want that to push up, ultimately pushing all of our major currencies down. I mean up. DXY pushing DXY down, pushes up the major currencies. Let's jump back to GU. Let's go, push up. 2 more minutes until this candle closes. Yeah. Yeah, you can just kind of see this flag pattern forming. See that? Yeah. Bullish flag as well. And so what we'll likely see happen is this. Oh, maybe not. And this. It's finally trying to move down. It's good. Yeah. It will just play on my little entry line. But if I was in a long position, I would be pretty happy right now. Might even just exit that position because I have a feeling it wants to come back down here and then push up again, or at least when exit, wait for it to come down, then re-enter. That might be a pretty interesting little strategy there. Euro dollar is doing the exact same thing as the GU, creating this bullish flag. And this is more of a bullish flag than the GU because we are seeing way steeper higher lows on it. Steeper higher lows. and more flat, higher highs is a pretty good indication that it wants to go up. This is just candlestick pattern theory, by the way. It's not, there's no certainties in the market. It's just what you see, and everything is very subjective, subjective to the trader, and that subjection becomes stronger through knowledge, through experience. So. Oh no, don't go down, go up. Why are you going down now? All right, well, that 15-minute candle formed, which was nice. Let's drop out to the 15-minute. A little bit of a pull back into the downside. We'll just see this treacle. I think we'll just see this treacle come back down. But ultimately, I think this is going to go up, and then I'll be looking at potential long short position based on that. Yeah, it's coming down now. This should be going up then. Yeah. We could see the price come up to the day's open. Look at that big Marubozu candle. Bearish Marubozu candle. It's crazy. Very bearish. This should be going up as well. Yeah. What does it look like on the hour? Yeah, yeah, you can see you've triggered a bit there. I wouldn't call that a liquidity sweep, but we can certainly see that there was some potential orders taken out from here, just below here. What kind of candle is that as well? I don't know, not too much volume was behind these candles. A lot of volume coming in now, pushing the price so down, but I think this will close bullish. Yeah, close bullish, which is very frustrating because we want it to close bearish, pushing these prices up. It's just a big waiting game today, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, I'm very nervous of entering positions when I see these very big candles because we know that the price is going to come back down, Sometimes it doesn't, of course, but we just know that a lot of these huge amount of momentum and volatility just pushing a single candle on a low frame, time frame such as this, just leads to the market trying to correct itself, and that's when it comes back down for that pullback before then moving higher. A 5-minute candle is going to form. I told you we're just going to see this, and it should get smaller and smaller, and then we'll see something happen. It's a very boring candlestick pattern. Very, very boring. 3, 2, 1, 5-minute candle. This one closes. And here we go. Hopefully it pushes up a little bit more now. There we go. Push up higher. Get some more momentum. I know I'm looking at GBP USD. That's one of my favorite currency pairs. Um, I mean, I look at DXY mainly just to do my analysis for JU, GBP USD, Euro dollar, and JU, so USD JPY, and well, the Euro dollar. Not my major trading pairs, but they are. I do trade them occasionally, but I prefer looking at the GU. Oh, strong push down. Very strong push down. Look at that. But does momentum hold it, or does volume hold it? So look over gold. Very nice. They're all forming similar shapes. You know, you see, all forming these similar shapes, and indicating they will want to go up even further, which I think we're going to see a big reaction to liquidity resting above some highs. Which one says this was a potential target for a long? Why was it a potential target for a long? We need to move this out of the graphics. Liquidity resting, liquidity resting. Probably going to see a reaction from this level here. Yeah, so we could see that gold push a bit higher up to here. We might see a bit of a pullback down to this level around here before then going up and grabbing that liquidity. Let's see if this falls nicely on any of our lower frames. I guess it does, yeah, look at that, beautiful. What I mean is we can see that this is a potential demand zone. So that falls very nicely into that potential demand zone. This could be where the price or gold falls back to. Pushing up JPP USD. So that's finally pushing up a little bit more. So it's struggling, but it's trying to push up as well. This will start pushing itself down. Shouldn't do. Really should be going up a little bit, but if this goes up, then all of our major pairs goes down. We don't want that at the moment. We want it to have a little bit more room. Yeah. Do we think that DXY might come down here? See, yeah, I mean, that aligns pretty nicely with what I said earlier. You know, we want the price to come down. We want it to come down to here and then have that reaction. Oh, it's just a big, big waiting game. Very frustrating. Coming up to the next 5-minute candle. 2, 1. There we go. Nice push up on the GBP. Nice push down on the DXY, obviously. Oh, you see, I told you, it's just so annoying. I hate these little patterns. It's just going to keep doing this. And let's get smaller and smaller. And then boom. Oh, so annoying to wait for these patterns to play out. Yeah. So let's see. Hopefully it goes up, and then I can start looking for positions. What's happening with crude oil? Let's take a quick look at crude. Uh, People are scared. You can see people are afraid because price is going up on crude oil. Um, so yeah, we can see a lot of rejection happening here and a lot of push into the upside, signaling that crude may continue upward for a bit. Hopefully it doesn't, because that has real world impact, really bad. Uh, High oil prices has a huge impact on businesses. Um, and if businesses are not doing very, very well, they're likely going to bring interest rates down, just to support those businesses. And whichever country brings down those interest rates, their currency pairs are going to falter. And I think DXY is likely going to be one of the first to buckle. I think Trump has been wanting the US dollar to, he wants to devalue it, he wants to bring down interest rates to support businesses, even without the conflict. So anyway, SPX is looking pretty nice. It looks like there's a pretty interesting rebound happening there on creating new higher highs. I think that is the all-time high of S&P 500. That is the all-time high of the S&P 500. Good Lord, look at that. Beautiful push-up, breaker structure, very bullish. Nasdaq also, wow, look at that recovery. Absolutely incredible recovery. So any long-term investors are likely very, very happy. Look at all of this recovery that is happening at the moment on these indices. Okay, GBP USD, come on, move up so that I can look for a confirming entry point. Also, I mean, we are coming toward the end of the live stream. It's a bit of a shame that I can't keep going. It would be great to bring on some of our customers to do the live stream with me, so that we can have more in-depth discussion about what's happening with the markets, where it's going, latest news, updates, etc. And we'll likely bring on a co-host sometime in the next couple of months to make this a little bit more exhilarating, as well as staying on for a little bit longer. I don't think the hour can capture everything from our standpoint, and I also believe we want to do the New York stuff. The New York session is where the major volatility enters into the market. So we do have that in place, but it's going to take a little bit of while for us to get that set up for you guys, and then we can go through the markets in more detail. But I most certainly hope that this helps in understanding and running your own technical analysis. You can see how I do mine. Yes, I have a consortium of different tools and techniques that I use in my strategy, but ultimately the main one I am using is looking for potential supply and demand zones where liquidity is resting and just general price action. I do look at indicators like the EMAs, though those are what helps me identify a trend. And of course, I look at candlestick patterns. They do seem to, some of the best ones I've come across is definitely head and shoulders and the inverse head and shoulders. These ones have been really nice. Ascending and descending wedges, these have been really, really nice as well. And then just general tools like Fibonacci retracement. I have a plethora of different tools and techniques, but if you go and look through our academy, you'll be able to learn and understand all these different strategies and techniques that I apply to my own personal way of trading. But of course, everyone has their own little way in how they analyze and run the markets. So the hour's just up. So we have now seen on the GBP USD, the hour candle has just closed. I'm on the 5-minute frame, but we can take a look at the hour. So we can see it closed very bullish, which is nice. And we are finally seeing that push up. Hopefully it continues. The continuation into the upside would be fantastic at this point, which would be great. And so obviously I'm not in a position, right? I'm just waiting I'm waiting for a potential opportunity to arise, and I would then be looking to short the market short term. That's my goal for today on trading. On my technical analysis, that will be my overall goal. Euro US dollar, exact same thing. I'm just waiting for it to push up even more before finding a nice entry point to short, and I think it is going to at least come down and retake some of these liquidity areas resting below. Gold long, we can see that the price is likely going to have a bit of a reaction here before coming back down. If it does come down, it will come down to one of these areas down here before then going up higher. So bullish on gold because we've got to change the direction, which is great. USD JPY, I am bearish, but I'm looking for short-term bullish trades. As you can see, we want to see it push up before coming back down, and then enter into a position, and then wait for something up here to have a reaction, and then short the market. That's what I'll be looking at. I just saw some reaction on gold, but oh, I thought we were going to see quite a lot of push into the upside there. DXY, yeah, we want this to be bearish short term and then bullish overall. Although we are currently in a bear market on DXY, and so I want to trade those pullbacks. Of course, you want to be trading with the trend. So for any of you new guys out there, if you are running your own technical analysis on the markets, you're going to want to be following the trend. If it's going down, you want to identify specific areas where you could enter into those trades and into those markets. But yeah, that's mostly it, guys. I mean, of course, I will continue doing daily market breakdowns and try and make them as simple as possible so that you can understand and just apply it to your own strategies and your own analysis. But that's everything. Thank you so much for joining this live stream. And like I said previously, we'll try and extend it. And hopefully we'll extend it by at least another hour or 2 hours, and we'll apply it to the New York sessions into the future. And those are pretty exciting. Those are really exciting times, right? We see a lot of volume and volatility during those times. But anyway, thank you very much for joining, and I look forward to seeing you in next week's session. Bye for now, and good luck trading.